Hey, I'm so glad you're here. I have a sneaking suspicion that you may be dealing with a situation right now that's very confusing or frustrating. And there just seems to be something about it that you can't quite understand or put your finger on. So why don't we ask Spirit to give you some insight or revelation on what you may not be seeing about this situation that you're facing, shall we? So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and then pile number 3. So take your time. Feel into which pile calls the most to you. And I'll see you over there. Hey, pile number 1. So you chose this grouping with the Fey Whispers Fairy Oracle cards on top. And so, what aren't you seeing about this situation? I pre-shuffled some Oracle decks. And so, let's see what they have to say. Fairy light. Follow the glimmer. Trust your heart to guide you on your path. The holy mountain, soul calling, sacred journey, pilgrimage. And then you got 2 of these. You can let go now. Surrender to what is. Acceptance. Letting go, water, non-resistance. And then the second one in this is, don't worry, darling. You'll find your way. The red rose, overcoming obstacles. Finding joy, carefree. Beautiful. What aren't you seeing about this situation? Kind of like yourself and what you're capable of. Trust your heart to guide you on your path. Don't worry, you'll find your way. You can, you can let go now. And that definitely speaks to this idea that you're going through something that is pretty challenging. But maybe only because you're ignoring your part, yourself, what you can do. You're looking at the situation and not recognizing how capable you are to get through it, to deal with it, to get answers. And I think that that message of letting go and surrendering is encouraging you to let go of trying to control how the situation plays out and start to sit into how capable you are in dealing with however it presents itself. The unknown is definitely intimidating, but when we have a sense of what we can do, it becomes less so. Because at least we know where we stand, what we're actually capable of, and what we can do if something may arise. And that's really the goal for our lives as we advance and grow, is to continue learning and continue improving ourselves, what we can do, you know, advancing further and further in our skills, our capabilities. I mean, that's just the normal way that life presents itself. And when we go through traumas, it disrupts that natural flow of growth and improvement in skills and learning, to where now things seem too big. Now things seem just too scary to even try to approach. And you feel crippled and kind of incapable. Like, no, I'm just incapable. I can't even look at this. I can't even try. And it's just because of the trauma and the trials and struggles that you've been through that has put a, I don't know, like a lens over reality, to where you're not seeing clearly what is there because you're looking through the lens of trauma. So as you're willing to face the trauma and go through that process of healing it, healing yourself so that you can remove that lens and see clearly what's before you, you start to step back onto that path of growth. And then you start to see, oh, I can do that. Oh, I am growing and my skills are improving in this area or in this area. And as that lens continues to be removed and pulled away as you're healing yourself, the unknown and whatever may come up becomes much less upsetting and terrifying to you. And it can come to a point, the more healed you are and the more that you've allowed yourself to grow and to learn and to advance in what you know and what you can do. You know, it can come to a point where you're excited about whatever the unknown may present itself. You can't wait to see what challenge comes up that you can navigate and figure out, because it's another way for you to grow. It's another way for you to advance. And when you're in a trauma state, you can't even approach that kind of thinking. You know, there's too much injury to even imagine that you could actually be so skilled and so capable that the unknown doesn't scare you anymore. So let's get some tarot to see kind of more about your situation. and what Spirit wants to tell you about it. So much. Okay. Well, we'll take these, see what they got to say. We got Queen of Pentacles, Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, and then we have this Death card. Yeah, I'll remove that so you can see these really quick. Yeah, so it really looks like you have put in the work to heal your trauma. The sun is rising. And I really felt emotional when I said that. The sun is rising, and, you know, this whole rebirth of you is finally taking place. And so, you know, with regard to what you're not seeing about this situation, I think clearly, because we have so many encouraging cards, you know, even this Ten of Swords, the sun is rising. The swords aren't even in your back anymore. There's just flowers. You know, there's just flowers. And it's so beautiful, because what you're not seeing is that the end of this whole painful journey is, you know, this whole painful journey of trauma is finally here. And sometimes when, you know, because we have this acceptance and surrender card, and sometimes when you're trying to heal yourself, you just want to get out of the pain. You just want to have a better day, a better life, where you're not looking through that lens of hurt anymore. You're able to see clearly, and you're able to feel powerful. You know, you can get so caught up in that process that you kind of miss the fact that you're there. You've done it. You've achieved this, you know, tremendous healing. It's like the seed of your healed self is now like lit up. And is about to burst forth. And, you know, it's actually kind of cool that this Death card is covered in flowers, just like this Ten of Swords. Like, you're so there, you know. And the fact that it says to follow the glimmer here, you know, it's like the same pose, you know. She's looking at the light. She's looking at the light. And that light, as is said here in this card, is your heart. And you're learning that, you know, you have put in so much work to the point that, you know, we get to see this imagery for a Ten of Swords. You know, you are coming to the dawn. And all the pain has now turned into flowers. Not blood, not agony, but the blossoms of new beginning, of heal, healing, a healed self. And we see, this Ten of Pentacles and the Six of Pentacles as really the abundance that's now going to start to flow in. You look at your situation and maybe you're still seeing, the work of the Death card, where it's like, that transformation that still has to take place, the pain that maybe you think is there, but it's just residuals that, you're trying to get rid of. But it's just residuals. There's flowers now. There's new growth now. Yourself is like finally coming to life. Yeah. Yourself is finally coming to life, lit up with the light of, your heart, your joy, and that hope that you've put into yourself through the healing process that you've been through, that you could have a better day, that you could experience a better life. And that's what's coming in. We look at this Six of Pentacles and how, again, the light is shining down on her as though the light itself is giving her these pentacles, gifting her, what she deserves from all of the hard work that she's put in. And you've really done a lot, I think that's why, again, there's that message of let go, surrender, be like water, because you've done it. You've healed yourself. You've achieved this, whether you believe it or not. And what needs to happen now is that willingness to really look at that and recognize that whatever is there are residuals that no longer hold power over you like they did. And so you can dismiss them. You don't need to work through them anymore. You don't need to try to learn more and get more answers about them. You've already done that work. You don't need to repeat it. What needs to happen now is full release. When it comes up, release it with joy, because you've already went through the process of healing it. And so residuals come because of habit and even the ego and the natural sort of process or way that your life has been lived up until now. You are used to feeling bad, thinking negative thoughts, hating yourself, being afraid. And now that you've healed the injuries that caused that way of living and that way of thinking, it's like, well, oh, there's space here. How am I going to think now? It's a totally new way of living that you're having to now traverse. It's new for you. And that old process, that old way of approaching life, you've been so used to it, it still kind of comes up. And that's normal. When you repeat something long enough, you can't just expect that, a period of not repeating it is going to make it go away forever. You have to, stand your ground and keep reminding yourself, this is not the way that I live anymore. That's in the past. I've healed that. I can now think differently. I can remove that lens and see clearly the beauty, the abundance, the joy, the gifts from heaven that's all around me. And look at how it surrounds this Ten of Swords. Kind of like saying, cover it up. Cover up what is continuing to try to, make itself known or make it seem like, oh, there's still issues to be had. Cover it up with what you know, what you've learned, and the kind of life that you have worked so hard to achieve, the kind of perspective. You've worked hard to start to see life clearly. You don't need to keep seeing it through the lens of pain anymore. Remind yourself through covering it up with joy and abundance and that new way of seeing that you've worked so hard to achieve, so that you can help yourself see clearly about the situation, that you are ready to put all of that pain in the past and be done with it. Be so done, you are utterly transformed into an entirely new being, into an entirely new way of living. You can have the abundance that's there. Heaven is clearly, showing how it's here to offer you, and it is pouring on to you its gifts. But you can't see it if you keep your focus on those residuals that are trying to make it seem like you still have more to heal. At some point, what has to happen with your healing is the choice from your willpower to just let it go, to just drop it. You can let it go. You're ready to. And you are fully capable now to navigate this new life that you've set up for yourself because you put in the work to heal from all of what happened to you. It is truly over. You can drop it. And it's just a conscious choice every day to say, no, that's in the past. I know I healed all of that. I don't need to keep carrying it. I can let this go. I can trust myself that I can find my way. Into this new life that I've created for myself. And you definitely can. You can find your way, and you will. Think of it this way. It takes a lot of courage and power to heal the traumas that we go through in our lives. So the fact that you had that kind of courage, that kind of power to push through the terror and the pain of facing all of that is 100% proof that you can now navigate this new world without all of that old baggage holding you down anymore. You can be free. See, it says carefree. And you can start to approach life without any of that you have had to live under all these years. Successfully. You can do this successfully. You can completely start anew without any of that holding you back. You don't need to keep carrying it. You're free. Now it's just up to you to decide that that's the case, because you've already done the work. So will you believe in yourself that the work you've put in was enough to where you can drop this all and go on and live the life you created for yourself through all of your hard work and determination? You should be really proud of yourself. And proud of yourself enough to not keep beating yourself up with those painful thoughts and beliefs and ideas and memories too. You did so much work. Don't ignore it. It's worthy of your acknowledgement. And your acknowledgement is the release of all of that pain and not letting it get you down anymore. So I hope that that brought clarity for you with the situation that you're facing. And I hope that it brought you some encouragement with how to move forward. I'm so thankful that you are here today with me. And I will see you next time. Hey, Pile 2. So you chose this group of oracle cards. And we're talking about what you aren't seeing about this situation, whatever situation that you're dealing with or that you have in mind. So let's take a look at these cards. First one you got is ambition. That's interesting. I had been shuffling with, I had 3 oracle decks in mind to shuffle with. And when it came to your pile, one of the decks wouldn't give anything. And so I was called to this deck. So very interesting. Ambition. And then we have trust in the places you feel guided toward. Space, time, and self. Infinity, reincarnation, and 5D. Isn't that interesting? Okay, and then you also have Silent Stone. Strength in silence. Let your presence speak. As well as Wings of Inspiration. Let your imagination soar. Embrace the freedom of creativity. There's a lot of messages coming through, a lot of different things. Ambition, trust in the places you feel guided toward, inspiration, I wonder if this is kind of like an idea of whatever you're being called to, whatever ambition you have, maybe keep it to yourself for now. Strengthen silence. Sometimes when we kind of, I mean, it, for some reason, this can happen so often where when we share maybe a bit too early about something that we're working on, the energy of the others that you share with can end up making it fall through or not work out, or can even taint your own vision of it and cause you to see it in a different light than what you had originally envisioned. And so a lot of times, and use your own wisdom as to who you would share with, but it is more beneficial to go ahead and just, especially in the beginnings of whatever you're working on, kind of keep it to yourself, kind of work in silence, and not really tell too many people. Especially, like if there are people that you really trust or that you need to tell because they're working on it with you, that's one thing. But, sometimes even people that you think you could trust, it just maybe the way that their energy is just can really disrupt the flow of what you were working on. So maybe be a bit mindful with what you're working on, because it does seem like you've got a vision. And so maybe that vision, is going somewhere, going to a different place than where you're at right now. And, maybe the people around you would discourage that. And it really looks like Spirit's saying what you're envisioning, what your ambition is, what you're wanting to achieve, which would take you to another place, is the right path. And you need to trust that and kind of keep it to yourself so that you don't have to deal with that energetic strain or confusion or, any other kind of, arguments or chaos that may come up from you sharing it. Maybe what you aren't seeing about this situation, which has to do with this goal and ambition that you have, is the potential negative repercussions that could happen if you told the people around you about it. And you found this reading, hopefully in time, before you said anything, to kind of be as a warning, like, hey, keep this to yourself for now. Work on it with the energy that you have towards it, with the perspective that you have for it, and let that energy gain momentum. Because when it has more of a foundation, then you'll be able to share with others, because it will be more solidified and strong. And when people want to argue or come against you about it, it's already set in stone, so to speak. Like, it's already firm within you, to where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter if they argue with me about it or not, because I've already built that foundation. And so trust yourself here, and kind of recognize that, yeah, there is strength in silence in this situation. And that's what's needed right now, is for you to just keep this to yourself. Let me see, what tarot deck should I use? Let's use this one. Let's see if we can get any further information from Spirit about this situation. Pile number 2. Please, Spirit. And like with earlier, how I shared that like this deck wanted to come out instead of another one that I was trying to use, that also gives me this feeling like maybe plans have changed. Maybe you had some idea in mind, maybe everybody knew about it, and then suddenly like you just didn't feel right about it, right? Like that deck wasn't bringing any cards, and then I just felt pulled to this one, And so maybe that's kind of what has happened for you. Maybe this isn't like necessarily a physical place. Maybe it's like trusting the change in direction that you suddenly now feel called to, and keeping it to yourself because everybody knew the original direction, and now you're going to go off in this whole other direction, and there's probably going to be a lot of chaos that ensues if you speak up about it right away. So that could also be. Well, what else here? Number 2. Oh, Death card immediately coming out. Let's see here. We'll put it here. What else for pile number 2? Wow, that's really interesting. Oh. Holy shit. Okay. We got 4 cards there. What's this one? Death, Judgment, and the Chariot. Wow. To get both of these, they're both kind of talking about rebirth, being born anew. And that kind of like goes back to, what I was saying, like, you're changing your mind about a situation or about an idea. And yet like kind of transforming into something else. Here, let's see what these other 4 cards were. So you have the 2 of Wands. Let's see, how should I do this? I guess we could. Two of Wands, 5 of Pentacles, the Devil, and the 4 of Wands. Yeah, right. Because of the Two of Wands. Actually, let's set that over here, because they came out together anyway. Because that makes a lot of sense. Because it kind of just goes in line with what I was saying. Okay, because so like Two of Wands, that can kind of mean like needing to make a decision. And so it almost seems like what I'm seeing here is like, on the one hand, what you were going with made you feel lack. It made you feel out in the cold, and like, what you were hoping for, what you were, desiring to see come about was not happening. It was just still in your imagination, and it wasn't possible to like bring it about with that like original path that you were going down. And I think with the devil here, it really made you feel trapped. Like, and even with this, sitting out in the cold, in the snow, like there's this sense of entrapment, and maybe even like also a sense of enslavement to this path that was just not serving you in the least. And maybe it was for others that were involved, but for you it wasn't. And I think that having the death and the judgment here, and the Chariot too, it's like, oh my god, it's you're having this courage to like release yourself from that situation. It's like you're lifting yourself up out of that. And you're deciding, I'm not going to be enslaved and entrapped anymore in this path that is not fulfilling me. I'm cutting that off. We see this huge sky. I'm cutting that off. I'm rising up out of the death that sort of path was leading me down, right? I mean, look at how you've been feeling. Empty, unsatisfied, completely lacking in, like your basic needs, like what you deserve. And you're moving forward. We've got this Chariot. You are moving forward out of that lack and that entrapment that you had to feel, had to be a part of on this path that maybe others wanted you to walk down. So, yeah, hell yeah, good job. Let yourself move forward. This guy is very powerful looking. And it really does take a lot of self-empowerment and confidence to choose to walk down a different path, to raise yourself up out of, the chains that, maybe others were holding you down with because they wanted you to do this or that because it was serving them, But you had the courage to recognize how it wasn't serving you, to recognize how, all of what you need and all of what you dream of is still just a dream and it's not actually happening. And then finding the courage to rise up out of that, cut it away, decide to go down a different path, decide to follow your heart. He's following the light of the bright, bright star. And that's what you're doing. You're following the light of your heart. You're following your own ambition and your own inspiration instead of, what others have wanted from you. And it's leading to success, to this level up, Four of Wands. It's success, it's leveling up, it's, I'd say even like an alignment. But they're definitely celebrating, They've got these torches lit, and they're celebrating and enjoying each other and the light of their own light. And maybe it's you being able to find people who can share with you what you love. They love it too, And maybe that's the goal. Maybe that's what this whole transition process, we see, is leading to. And so for right now, okay, you've made the right decision. It's important to follow your heart and what you find in there, that ambition, that drive, that flame, that light. But it's also important for you to, kind of keep it to yourself for right now and allow this transition process and the movement of it to happen first. Don't tell anyone until you've moved out and away from this old path that you've been enslaved to walk down because of this devil card here. And are actually now within the path of your own ambition and your own drive before you start telling people. Really let it become something firm and strong. He's got these roots like he's sitting on a tree, or maybe the roots are from him and they're really now coming down and anchoring in, right? He has firmed himself in this new path that he's going down. And that's what's needed here. Let this process happen. Keep it to yourself. Build those roots. Let them become firm and strong before you tell people. And trust that it's going to lead you to a whole new set of people that vibe with you and what you like and what you're interested in. There's like a card. I guess there's like two cards that are sticking out. I think especially this one. What is it? Six of Cups. What's this one? Cool. So, as like a last message from Spirit, there's just this huge encouragement that follow that your inner child, that childlike spirit that you get over this ambition that you have. You know, maybe it's something that you've always dreamed of since you were a little kid. And it's always been secretly in your heart, and you've never been able to go after it or achieve it for one reason or another. You know, maybe because of that devil, you know. But as you make this transition, you know, the fulfillment here of that precious inner child that has always wanted this is clearly what you're going to see. And that is so exciting. So, you know, what you aren't seeing about this situation is it is totally going to work out in the most favorable and wonderful way. And the only thing that you need to do is just keep it to yourself for right now and allow that work, that process of transformation and movement away from this old path that you've been walking down occur. Build those roots, strengthen yourself, and you will get to see a really beautiful result from that work and from changing your direction. So congratulations on the courage to change your direction. It's definitely going to turn out beautifully for you. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that this gave you some clarity on your situation and also some hope and encouragement. And so I will see you next time. Okay, hey, pile number 3, welcome. So you chose this group of oracle cards and a lot came out for you. Yeah, I think you're the only pile that got several of each deck, so that was interesting. So we are talking about what you aren't seeing about the situation. So let's see what these cards say. Darling, don't you remember you're a badass? Keep winging it. And this is the fairy blessings, flow, and magical energy. Hell yeah. As well as growing pains. Great. What does it say on there? It's a process. I don't know if you can read that or not. Yeah, it's a process. And it says healing, patience, and unconscious. Okay. So then we also have prosperity charm, wealth's embrace. Hold a green candle and chant fortune's smile, come to me. Abundance flows as I will it be. As well as Fairy Queen's crown. Embrace your sovereignty and let your heart rule with love. And you also have, I don't know, there's 3 of these, so we'll see if I can fit them all. Soul agreement, soul mission, soul plan, and life purpose. And then dancing with stones, movement, teamwork, and partnership. As well as, I guess that can work. The egg stone, feminine power, embodiment, and fertility. Like I saw growing pains in the egg stone and instantly thought, like, is someone pregnant here? So maybe that is for like one of you. Yes, it's a process. I suppose so. I've never been pregnant. So, what aren't you seeing about this situation? What is this one? Oh, yeah, you're a badass. Are you not seeing that you're a badass? There's just such a feminine energy in this pile. And there's definitely an energy of abundance, you know, like I was saying, like only this pile got several of each oracle deck. There's an abundance within you. And we have that teamwork, also movement. What aren't you seeing? Well, it definitely feels like there's this sense that you're not really seeing the abundance, either within this situation or that will result from this situation, for sure. And, you know, with this soul agreement card, it definitely feels like this situation is, you know, a part of your life purpose. That's why I can't help but like think about someone being pregnant, because it's like life purpose, teamwork and partnership, the egg stone, growing pains, you know, you're a badass, prosperity and abundance, and like, you know, being the queen. Well, let's get some more information on the situation. For pile number 3, what would you like to let them know, Spirit, about the situation on your mind? Oh, burp. You're messing up my shells. Okay. 6 of Swords. So many cards. These. Okay. Page of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles. And the Fool card. Jeez. And then you also have the Star card. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that what you're not seeing about the situation is how abundant it is, or how much abundance is going to result from this. So we do see 6 of Swords. We do see, you know, that concept of how you're a badass. So there's definitely maybe a concept of, you know, moving away from difficult times. But that's not what's being talked about here, you know, like it seems like, yeah, you've done that. Like, look at how bright and lit up and magical this card is. You know, and then we have this Page of Pentacles and the 6 of Pentacles and the Fool and the Star. And the Fool and the Star are very interestingly similar because they're back to back, both looking at something that's full of light. both seeming to be on the move. And we saw that here with Dancing with the Stones and movement. So while, your situation, maybe it's a little slow, because like Six of Swords kind of implies like slow movement. You know what I mean? Like it definitely looks like, okay, a little bit slow here, but hey, you see the light before you. It's just that maybe you're not really seeing how much of light there actually is. You don't really realize how abundant you are going to be. There's just this sense of power. We saw that with, the oracle card about being a queen and sitting into your sovereignty. And, we see here with soul agreement that like this is your destiny. Getting out of whatever you were in and coming into an abundant place of richness and fullness is your destiny, is what you are meant for. And I think that the Dancing with the Stones goes so in line with the Six of Swords. You're teaming up with spirit, you're teaming up with yourself, and whoever is on this journey with you. There may be people, there may not be. And you are moving towards so much abundance. Maybe you don't see that in, the situation right now, but it is like a lot. And I guess, yeah, we see that with the growing pains, right? Like it's a process, Six of Swords, patience. Yeah. I think that that's really what's going on here for you. And Spirit is just wanting to encourage you that like, don't you even worry. Let the process unfold. Yes, it's going to be slow. It can be annoying to be slow, but what you are coming into at the end of this slow process is so rich and abundant and full that it's going to make that whole process just so worth it. And, not going to lie, this is a gorgeous card. And it really kind of implies that even where you're at right now, in the growing pains, on this process of moving to calmer shores, it's beautiful. There's a sense of hints at abundance along every step of this path. You see these little lights, like little fireflies, blinking in and out, hinting at you there is so much light ahead. And so it's just a matter of, really holding fast to what you're doing, being patient for it to grow, and believing, this reading found you to encourage that faith that, this movement that you are making to come to calmer shores is leading to such wondrous good that you cannot even imagine. And there's a lot of help here from Spirit, because it is your soul agreement. So Spirit is going to come in and support you and help you on this journey and encourage you to, have that faith to keep stepping forward into this unknown path where you know that there's light, right? See, she's holding it and she's looking, hoping for that light to grow. And yeah, it's not all around you yet. It's just in your hand, or just a glimmer of hope. And Spirit's coming in to encourage you to keep holding that glimmer of hope. Keep moving on this very slow path that can be annoying sometimes, because it is so abundant. When you reach that shore, you reach a land of wondrous beauty and abundance that you've never been able to imagine such a thing. And it will just surprise you looking at it all. And maybe you'll just be like, do I even deserve this? Because it'll be so shocking. So, you're reminded by Spirit that you are a badass and you can do this, even though it's slow. And you are reminded that even though you can't see it in this situation, it is leading you to great abundance and great, significant heart fulfillment that you have never experienced as of yet. Let's see, do we have any other messages? There's a card sticking out at the bottom of the deck. I know you can't see. Let me see what it says. 5 of Cups. And so she's holding a cup, right? The light is there. And yeah, it's basically the same message. This is all you see right now on your path. This is all that you feel like you're receiving. This is all that you have. But don't worry, so much more is coming in for you. So much more. This isn't 2 cups. This isn't 3 cups. It's 4. Tremendous amounts of abundance and blessing headed your way. So it's kind of a simple and quick message. I'm like, is that it? But yeah, I think it's just a quick message from Spirit to encourage you, hey, no worries. You've got this. And at the end of this is unbelievable blessing. All for you. Right? 6 of Pentacles. All for you. Just pouring in. So keep going. Keep going strong. You're doing great. And I hope that this message encouraged you to keep going because of what lies ahead. And I thank you so much for being here with me. And I will see you next time. Take care.